Coaches, good afternoon. My name is Chaz Henry, and I am the founder of PowerChalk.com. I appreciate everyone taking time out today to get on this call with us. I'm going to spend about 30 minutes plus walking through the latest, newest features of PowerChalk.com. As you know, we built the world's first online telestrator, and we've spent the last 6 months or so building features that will let you make money with it. So a quick outline here, a little bit of housekeeping, and then we'll get right to it. We're going to do a demo of the new feature set. We're going to talk to you about what you need to do to put yourself out there as a pro giving paid lessons. We're going to show you how to customize your page, how to do promotion with the site, and then we're going to talk about the lesson flow from both the coach's perspective and from the student's perspective. With that, we'll talk about who gets paid and how, a couple tips, and then we're going to take questions. We'll record the formal part of the session all the way up to the questions, and we're going to put that on youtube.com/PowerChalk. And at the end, I'm going to also give you a place where you can find a promotion code that I know you're all coaches, but not everyone on the call is a gold coach or using the gold package with all the features of PowerChalk. So I'm going to show you where you can get $25 off if you upgrade your account, your standard account, to a gold account. So with that, let's dive in. PowerChalk is an online coaching platform that enables coaches to make money, with the underline under enables coaches to make money. That's been our focus for our latest release of software. We've talked to everyone who's using the system. We've called, some of you have probably been called, and we've said, hey, Coach, what are you doing with it? And the number one request we get is, help me make money, help me use more of my day, help me give a midnight coaching session as opposed to just being chained to a batting cage or doing it inside a facility or on a field. So that's really what we focused on. With that said, as you know, PowerChalk is cloud-based. So whether I'm on a PC or a Mac, whether I'm on my Android or my iPad, everything that I'm taking, all the video that I'm taking, I'm pushing to the PowerChalk servers, which means I can get on a PC anywhere and I can analyze that, or I can share it out to my players, my parents, my customers. I can share that out using the PowerChalk cloud. So with that, and staying right in the browser, you notice I'm in IE here, and I'm going to switch tabs here, and I'm going to go over to my PowerChalk account. So in my PowerChalk account, I'm logged in as Chaz Henry. You'll notice that I've got 600 videos. So those 600 videos, some of them are raw videos. So you'll notice here the Cara golf swing does not have this little neutron that this Jacob Crisp video has. That little neutron tells me that that's a chalk talk. So that's a video that's already been analyzed, where this video is raw video. So back to the outline. In order to put yourself out there as a pro, you also have a tab under My Account Dashboard, and it's called Pro Settings. So once I've filled in this tab, once I've got a gold account and I've made myself a pro by filling in these requirements, then I'll become available to players, and I'm going to go back to my locker here. I'll be available to players under the Get a Lesson button. So let's walk through that very quickly. So Cara here, and I'll take the role of her, takes her golf swing. She clicks on Get a Lesson, and she's basically selected the video that she wants to get a lesson with. So now the next step is to select a pro, and she can do that by typing in a name. So if somebody knows that they're coming here for your lesson, they can type that. They can also type in, if I clear that and I type in my zip code 27511, and I say I want to work with someone within 50 miles of me, I can search the tables and I'll find multiple people. Now you notice I haven't limited by any sport, so I'm getting softball, I'm getting golf, I'm getting baseball, but you get the idea here. The student can use the database of pros to find the pro that they want to work with. I'm going to pick Jacob Crisp here. Jacob, a lot of you probably know, is our resident PGA pro on staff, so I'm going to give him some business here by saying Select Pro. And now I've done 2 out of the 3 things that I need to do. And here I'll leave a note for Jacob. And I'm just going to say need help. But you get the idea here. I fill in the 3rd part. And then it brings me to my shopping cart. And it has that lesson in there. You'll see it's lesson number 4 here. I've been giving demos earlier, and I've racked up 4 different lessons. And so I can remove those. And finally, what I would do is say, with the lesson in my cart, which is Jacob's asking price for his lesson, I just say pay now. All right, now I'm not going to give Jacob $40 today. Instead, I'm going to stop right there. I'm going to go back to my locker, and I'm going to show you the other half of the system. So with that lesson completed and that lesson purchased, the pro would come in and look at his lessons queue. So you'll notice a new folder here. So the lessons folder is a new folder. You know, we've always had premium content, public videos, my videos. If I go to the lessons folder, and specifically I go to in process, then you'll see that I, as a coach, so I've now got the coach's hat on, and Jacob Crisp has reciprocated and given me a lesson a couple days ago. And let me take you through the panel here. Jacob typed in a note, I'm having trouble keeping balanced, etc. He submitted this video, and I have, over the last day or 2, I have created 3 response videos. I've created 3 response videos, and I've attached them to this lesson. So and I've also, 2 of them you'll notice are Chalk Talks, so they've got the little neutron in the corner, and 1 is just a pure video. So I've got some videos in my locker that are somewhat generic, maybe, you know, how to do this or how to do that, then I can attach to this as well. Now the system helps me out by saying the next thing you need to do is either one of 2 things. Either Chalk Talk the submitted video or deliver the lesson. So if I say Chalk Talk the submitted video, again, staying right in the browser, it pops me into the telestrator with Jacob's swing loaded. So with that, I can, of course, you know, roll through, and I can look at the swing, and I can figure out what I want to say, and then at that point I'll say record analysis. And it says connecting to the PowerChalk cloud, 1, 2, 3 action. Now I'm being recorded. You notice the green light is flashing. Everything that I'm saying and doing is being recorded into a new video, and I talk to Jacob about his takeaway. I talk to him about his feet. You know, I grab my pencil here, you know, and I draw a circle on his head. You know, I rotate the video frame by frame, back and forth. You know, I make the points that I want to make. And we're not this is not a telestrator. There's a lot of good videos out there about how to use the telestrator. We're going to focus on the lesson process today, so I'm going to go ahead and say stop. So I've said to Jacob what I need to say, and then I type in the athlete subject. Notice as I type the word crisp, it reduces my filter down to filters that I've used before, athlete subject names that I've used before, and I say swing, and let's just say okay. And it tells me my session has been saved. It's rendering right now. It's attached to lesson 1034. And it gives me the choice. I can Chalk Talk this video again. So maybe I could go in and talk to him about a different part. So there's really no limit to how many videos you could respond to your student video with. You know, I can talk to him about his feet, his balance, and I can Chalk Talk again, or I'm going to say return to the lesson videos. So I click that button. Again, it takes me through the process by just coming each day to my lesson queue, my in-process lessons, and I process the lessons that have been purchased from me. So you notice now there's a 4th video. It's rendering, and it has attached that video to my lesson. So I also get a running log. You see I've been working at this lesson for a couple days now. I've been attaching and detaching videos. While I'm in here, I could also hit the Attach Videos button. So I've already attached the 4th video, which is the one that's rendering. I can go through my locker, and let's say that I've got a drill here. Now this is, you know, I'm switching sports here, but I've got a soccer dribbling drill. You know, let's say that was a a balance drill that I did somewhat generically, I could attach that video to the lesson and now return to the lesson. So you notice now I've got 5 videos attached to the lesson. So I have responded to Jacob directly by chalk talking his video 3 times, and I've attached 2 other videos, maybe on balance and maybe on an exercise or a conditioning drill, that might help with his issue. At that point, I'm probably ready to say deliver lesson. When you deliver lesson, your student will get an email that'll have a link that attaches all 5 of those videos. So I've really given him, again, in a real case, I've given him maybe 20 or 30 minutes of video to study in response to his submitted video and his particular requirement. So that's a quick walkthrough, and I know I'm going fast, but again, part of the advantage of this format is that we're recording this. We'll put it out to the PowerChalk page, and we'll send everybody who is on this call a link to that video so you can watch it, you can slow it down, you can pause it, and you can kind of follow along. So with the demo done, let's talk about pro requirements. Like I said earlier, the pro needs to have a gold account. So a gold account is our $99 a year or our $10 a month plan that gives you split screen, it gives you dual video, it gives you, all the features that you need to do professional analysis and respond, in a professional manner to these purchased lessons. So the next thing I'll have to do, we're going to go back to that and go through it in more detail now. I've got to go to My Account, Dashboard, Pro Settings, and I have to fill in my pro page, my title, put up my picture, and these are all 5. The 5 that are checked here in green, they are requirements. You will not show up in the list of available coaches until these 5 things are done. So with that, PayPal account, lesson fee, and sport, let's go over to that page, My Account, Dashboard, and on that page you have basic settings, my biography, my philosophy, and you also have, if you're a gold member, you have pro settings. So now on this pro settings page, the first thing you'll need to do is give your page a name. And it will then be found at powerchalk.com/Chaz Henry. So the system will tell you if you put in Grand Slam batting, if you put in Mike Smith, it's going to tell you whether or not that's available. Obviously, the sooner you go grab the title that you want for your page, the better. My title is Youth Baseball Coach. The facility that I work out of is PowerChalk LLC. I must create a profile picture. So with any digital camera, I can go over and I can browse for a photo off of my hard drive or my SD card. I can then crop and clip that photo, and then I say upload, and it becomes my current photo. So photo is required. And I can now go in and pick a sample lesson. So once again, you're going to get this little pop-up dialog that lets me go into my locker, and it lets me look through my lessons, and I've got many lessons to choose from, and I may say this one that I did with Joel, where I talked about alignment, that's a really good representative video of the kind of instruction I give, and it makes that my sample lesson. So moving on down, I must establish a PayPal account. Now, quick word, if you don't have PayPal already, you can put an email in here, and we can start paying your lesson fees to you through that email. What PayPal will do if you don't have an account, they will hold that money until you come finally and claim that account or basically attach your login to that account. So the key is here, I really encourage everyone to go out and get a PayPal account, especially if you want to participate in this. This is the easiest way to get paid. But you also want to use an email that is truly yours. Don't get started with a bogus email. Let us put money in that and then realize you can't attach it because you don't own that account. So that's the way to get started. I select my sports, and I push baseball and softball over into my selected sports. And I can, as far as my marketing goes, I can put in my Twitter, my Facebook, my website, and now what I want to do is say save and view. So I've filled in all of the required elements to be a PowerChalk Pro. I say save and view, and it takes me to what we call my PowerChalk page. Now, what the system did that quickly is it generated this page for me based on my sample video, based on the About Me, based on my biography and my philosophy, that I put in on the other tab of the page, sort of my basic tab. And it put my Twitter feed over here. Now, with that said, I can change that layout. So with this button here, I can change the layout. And you'll notice we use what we call tokens. Name goes here, title goes here. So the %% is just a way of saying this gets substituted on the fly with my facility name, my location, my turnaround time, etc. Now, coaches, if you're technically inclined and you want to go even further on your pro page, there's a button right here. I'm going to hover over it, and it says View Source Code. That lets me go all the way down into the HTML. So this is the HTML. This is actual web page code that's being used to render this portion of my pro page. So you can go in there all the way down to that level, and you can embed. We'll talk a little bit later about putting a YouTube video in there. So if I've got a YouTube video, it's not a Chalk Talk, but it's a video that I shot that sort of says who I am and why you should take a lesson from me. I can go and drop that code right in here, save the changes, and it becomes part of my pro page. All right, so there's my pro page fully rendered. And the other thing I should point out is that I've got a toggle right on this page, right on my pro page, where I can say my lessons, I want to suspend my lessons or I want to offer lessons. And what this does, if you go to all the trouble of setting up your pro page and then you go to Florida for a week and you really can't get to and give lessons, you can just suspend lessons. So I can just click that button and basically I take myself off the market for a week or however long I want to be off the market until I come down and offer lessons again. So this is it. This is your pro page. And you can get to it straight away by just saying My Account Pro Page. And of course, only because I'm me does it give me the change layout and the suspend lessons. What your student would see if you send them to, in my case, PowerChalk.com/Chaz Henry, if you send them to that page, they're going to see my pro page, my particulars, and a follow button. So one of the things you want to do, coaches, to promote yourself on this site is create your pro page and then start using this URL to send your students here. When they get to this page, tell them to follow you. Now, following is just like following in Twitter or just like following in any social site. It means that as I create new content, so really what we're doing for you is we're creating a platform that you can start broadcasting from. We've made it very easy for you to broadcast Chalk Talks, drills, tips, philosophies, and put it out there in a way that, me as a Little League baseball coach, when I get all my kids to follow me, I can just start putting out content knowing it's being pushed to them and they don't have to come to the site and pull it. All right, so you want to get everyone following you. Now, I've got lessons suspended, so there's no button, but if I offer lessons and I regenerate this page, then you'll also see that my page has a Get a Lesson button. So again, that's what your students will come to. That's what anyone who you give your link out will come to. They'll come to your page with your full description, examples of your work, and a Get a Lesson button. So obviously if I take a Get a Lesson, I'm going to go back through that same process the same way that we went through it earlier. Pick a video, you've picked your pro, send the pro a note, and buy the lesson. Okay, so that's the pro page. Let me jump back over to our outline. We talked about customizations. Again, the system starts with tokens. It picks up your bio and philosophy from the basic tab. We talked about HTML, and let's talk real quickly about embed codes. So I'm going to jump over to the YouTube page. And if you have a video on YouTube or you have a video about your facility, your company, you can hit the share button on YouTube, and it'll pop up a couple dialogues. Now you notice this first one, that is not the code that you need to share this in a page. That's the code that you would send someone to share it through an email. That's just a straight link that goes straight to this page. What you're looking for is this iframe code. So I can say I want this to be 640 by 480, or in my case, I want it to be smaller, 560. I'm going to take the smallest size, and I'm just going to grab that code. I am going to copy it onto the clipboard. I'm going to go back over to my Pro page, and remember we said change layout, and then view the source code, and I can put it inside, and I'm just going to put it at the very top here. I can put it inside that page, paste it, and then save the changes. So now what you'll see,
Hey, Alan. Hey, Joel. Hey, it's Coach.
now this video started playing. We can turn those videos autoplay on and off. But you'll see now what I've done is I've customized my page. I've brought in a YouTube video. At the top, I still have the tokens that spit out my location, my name, but I've added a video to that. So you can add a map to your facility. You can add virtually anything that you need to promote your business. And I can go back in and center that up. But that's how you drop any content into your Pro page. Now, a quick word about promotion. This link, once you establish your Pro page and you've got PowerChalk.com/Chaz Henry, I want to put that on my personal web pages. I want to put that on my business cards. I can even put that in the Telestrator. You can use the title function where you're allowed to title your video and have that come up and overlay the screen. I can put that right in the title of my Chalk Talks, especially if I'm doing a general Chalk Talk that's telling people how I coach. The other thing I would encourage you to do, again, a lot of you have met or talked to Jacob, is reach out to Jacob. Jacob will help you develop your Pro page. Jacob will help you do the codes, do embedding of YouTube videos. If you've got assets, then you need us to help you create the page, then that's what we're here to do. Reach out to Jacob at that phone number or that email address. So now, a quick review. If an athlete comes to the site looking to get a lesson, he or she will start by picking their video in their locker. They will then be offered the coach selection. They will write a quick note and pay. If you send them to your Pro page, then they simply, and they hit your buy a lesson button, of course, they've already selected you as a coach. So that's really the goal here, is to bring them straight to your page. The system will then take a little different route. It'll say, pick your video, write the note, and pay. At that point, in either process, the coach will get an email notification. So at that time, coaches, that's the point at which you would go to, this is basically our home page. You notice I'm clicking the leftmost button at the top, which is videos. This is what we refer to internally as your locker. It's got the My Videos, it's got public videos, and it's got the lesson queue. So that's where I would go to My Lessons, in process, and I would find a new lesson here. And again, I've got a log of everything that's happened on this lesson. I've got the videos that I have responded and attached with. I've got my original submitted video from the student. I've got the notes, and I've got the ability to say, I'm done, deliver this to the student. So that's the process for the Pro. Now let's talk about payments. So how much do you charge? Unlike some of the sites out there like Swing Fix, who just does golf and is owned by the Golf Channel, and they've picked their pros, ours is an open system. Ours is both open and transparent. So any coach can sign up. Now, some people have said, well, how do you qualify these coaches? How do I know these coaches are good? The way you know coaches are good the way you know that Amazon products are good. You look at their star ratings. Once a student has taken a lesson, and only if they've spent money with you, can they rate you. So they can give you 5 stars and say, Jacob really knows the game, got straight to the heart of my matter, which is balance, and control and takeaway speed. we're not going to turn that system on until the coaches have gotten enough lessons under their belt to feel really comfortable. But that is the goal of this system, is to let you, the coach, decide how much to charge, whether that's $50, how many response videos to give. You might give one, you might give two. You might give, like I did, 6 there. Your ability to use dual and split screen and to reach into our library and find the correct model and really compare, your student against a professional, or a high-end movement to really give good biomechanic advice, that's meaningful to your students. That's part of what establishes your value. But my point is, we're not establishing that. You are. Now, what we do is we take a commission off the lessons, and we're taking $3 plus 6.9% of the lesson fee. Now, with that, you can give $5 lessons, and of course, we're going to end up taking about $3.50 of that. And we do have coaches who are giving, let's say at a member guest golf tournament, they're giving out cards that have free lessons or $5 lessons. So that is your prerogative, is to set your fees, but understand that we take $3 and 6%. But understand what you get for that, coaches, and that is we host these videos forever. We make 4 copies of the video, one for the Android, for the iPhone, for the Mac, for the PC. So we have all of the copies available. We give you the tools to manage your locker, and we also handle the transaction part of this process. So now, having said that, you need to know as well that PayPal takes 2.9%. So that's really the economics, of giving lessons online. Again, what we're hearing from coaches is that if you can extend your day by giving some of these at 8 p.m., all the way up to midnight, and you have a full queue of these, it's a huge benefit and a huge revenue stream that coaches are already using and have an appetite to increase this portion of their business. Quick analysis tips. And then some of this is filming. Now, I know some of you coaches are doing your own filming. You've got a batting cage. You're bringing these in. You're bringing the kids in, and you're doing the filming. In some cases, this is footage taken from my kids' mom and dad. So they're giving me the footage. I'm reaching into their locker and grabbing this footage, or in this case, they're submitting that video, in order to get it analyzed. So, but again, if you're the one filming, fill the frame. That's one of the biggest issues we see with iPhones. iPhones, as you know, we've got iPhone, we've got Android applications. You can use those to take the footage. But if you're back in the stands at a baseball game and the picture is 1 inch, on a 4-inch screen, it's not as valuable for analysis. Film orthogonal means be 90 degrees from your subject, whether that's face on or down the line. Again, we really encourage you to find a model. If Tim Lincecum is your model, and I know a lot of coaches are saying Tim Lincecum is the antithesis of a model, but my point is that's a radically different motion than some of the other pitchers who you might model from. Be aware that we've got libraries out there under premium content. We've got the National High School Invitational pitches and swings. Great high school kids in there that are beautiful models for some of your kids. You may have someone on your team. You may want to model a 12-year-old against a 14. So as you collect video, those become part of your library. Encourage you, especially at the younger ages. We are a partner of Little League Baseball. Find the good. This is not about telling me what I'm doing wrong. Tell me attaboy, 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 and oh, by the way, Chaz, if you could change these 2 things, I think it would really help. So, obviously there's a social part of this that, that makes for good instruction. Use a title. We see a lot of chalk talks, but we see very few of the coaches using the title. That's beyond the scope of this today. We're coming up on our 30-minute time frame, so I want to stick to the scope of this. And also use keyframes. There's videos out there that tell you how to use keyframes, how to go ahead and establish 12 points, in a pitch or a swing or a golf swing. And go ahead and, before you hit the record button, go ahead and set your video up and put it on those keyframes. When you load your model, you'll be able to put those 2 together no matter what film speed they were recorded at by using keyframes. And ultimately, this is about making insights first and then communicating those insights. It's not just about what you can see, it's what you can communicate. We obviously are big believers that the visual component of this is, especially for the younger athletes, is just a huge benefit that lets them advance these motions studies show up to 5 times faster than if you're just laying hands on, on a bat in the batting cage. So with that, I promised a discount code. If you'll go to our Facebook page, you will find a 25% off post, basically on the Get Offer portion of that. So you see Get Offer here. If you click Get Offer, Facebook will send you an email with the promo code that you can use when you go to upgrade and begin the checkout process. So you'll get a promo code, and the promo code goes here. So when you do that and you've got the gold account in your locker, it will discount that by $25. With that, like I said, we're right on track here at 30 minutes flat. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording portion of this. I see some questions already coming in. I will stay online and answer questions as long, and I'll answer them visually. I'll keep the the video part going. Again, it will not be part of the final recording, but please give us your questions. Give us your feedback. We've done, coaches, what we call a soft launch. So we've not made a big splash until now. We've had dozens of coaches using this for the last couple months in a real experimental method. If you talk to Jacob, Jacob can put some test lessons into your account for free. So if you want to practice at this, you can say, hey, Jason, throw me a baseball swing. Let me see if I can chalk it up and send a response back to you. We're glad to do that. We're here to help you. We're here to help you make money with PowerChalk. Thanks for tuning in.